When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish.
The podcast that is born this way, baby. I was born for ass play.
Yes, you were. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
And we're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today
we're going to talk about
something. It's a secret. It's at live shows. We don't reveal our topic until well into the show to hold you in suspense. I know, I can tell you're all very much in suspense right now.
For a reason that felt exciting when we did it at first, and so we kept doing it.
But first, hello, Boise. Hello, Boise at Treefort Music Festival. It's so great to be here. Great to see you. Boise, how do you say it, Kyle?
The right way?
No.
The wrong way, but this is one of those things that I haven't asked you about because you say it weird, and I knew you're going to have some intelligent comment about why you say it this certain way, and I just didn't want to do that with you. Yeah. So, but confronting your friends on a podcast is why podcasts were born, but yeah. I say it Boise.
Yeah, and most people do, and I did too, but like I have family from Boise, and I was always
an intellectual say it a different way. That's cool.
You're supposed to say it the way that you would refer to the person that rails you after boys A and B. Boy C.
Okay. It's interesting, though. Boys D is through all of that.
That's true. They are all boy D if that's what you're into.
Okay.
And you
all
are.
Right.
And actually, I don't think people here care. It's one of those things that, like, after somebody fucks up your name enough, you're just like, whatever.
Wait, is that my name?
Yeah.
It's my name, Boise. I don't, but like, it's one of those things where if you know the right way to pronounce something and then you go around, it's like I don't have a master's in anything. Having an undergraduate degree in Spanish, I know how to pronounce everything, but I'm not going to walk around being like, "Hi, can I have a tortilla?" Like that sounds so condescending and shitty, and like I'm trying to appear better than you. But it works great on you. When you do it,
it's on brand for me. It's on brand for me.
Yeah, it works.
Absolutely. So big thank you again to Treefort for us allowing us to be here, and another hand for This Could Be Gay, who was right on before us. It was great.
Wonderful job. There are so many queer podcasts here. It's so exciting. So thank you for planning so many queer podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool. Quick reminder, if it wasn't clear from all of our signage and all of that, this is a very not safe for work podcast. It is rated R, sometimes rated X. You know, not that bad, but. Mm-hmm. But it can be.
It depends.
So if that makes you uncomfortable,
I'm
then
excited to tell everyone, go check out Gayest. It's great. Our last episode
was about incest.
Was about incest. So you just, when you say whatever consenting adults want to do, they're like, let's test that boundary. So we talk about things that are either uncomfortable or personal, stereotypes about gay people.
Yeah, it was a surprisingly good episode. I thought.
I loved me talking about it. I sounded great.
Has anybody heard our show before? A round of applause. Anybody out there? Okay, not zero. That's fantastic. And so the rest of you are gayish virgins, so I hope you brought your lube. Here we go. Quick round of applause, members of the LGBT community here, folks. Yes, excellent.
Oh, everyone's gay.
Yeah, everyone's a little gay. So our show is, as Kyle said, about gay stereotypes. We like to talk about the fact that there's no wrong way to be gay, and there's no wrong way to be straight, for that matter. And a lot of people have anxiety about, like, my brother likes musicals, and like, he's straight, and like kind of hides his shame about that because it's a gay thing, which is really unfortunate because musicals aren't like inherently gay.
In the TV show How I Met Your Mother, they're so excited to all the straight dudes in it are so excited to go to a gay bar because they get to order fruity drinks. And it was like, you could live that life everywhere. Your entire life could be filled with fruity drinks. And that would be totally cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And once a week we take a gay stereotype of some kind and we talk about it. We break it down. Is it useful or not? Is it true or not? Does it apply to us or not? To that end, at the end of every single episode, 273 episodes, we do our Gayest and Straightest, which is to say that's the gayest thing about us this week and the straightest thing about us this week. The whole point being there's a little column A and a little column B for everybody all the time. At the end of the show, we're going to be asking all of you to share your Gayest and Straightest. If you're comfortable doing so, just we'll come up and have audience participation time. So yeah, be thinking about that. What's your gayest and straightest is?
Yeah, so like what's the stereotypically gayest thing you did this week? What's the stereotypically straightest thing this week? You've probably done a little bit of both. Some weeks I have more gay weeks than others. Sometimes I have more straight weeks. So it's
sometimes the straightest is the hardest part to decide.
Agreed. Yep.
So be thinking about that, and we'll do that at the end of the show per usual. It is a live show tradition that we reveal our topic after the news. But before the news, real quick, we are doing a theme song contest. Y'all heard the theme song on the way in. We're asking people to submit their own verses to the theme song. And the gayish the better. Submissions are due on Friday, April the 1st. So get those in, and then we will announce our winners at our Portland show next weekend. Which, that's a great segue. Thank you, Mike, for our Portland show.
I'm going to go over here.
Boise is the first stop on a 3-city tour that we are doing. We will be in Portland, Oregon next weekend at Hop Capital Brewing on Sunday, April the 3rd at 1 p.m. Pacific. And then the very next weekend, Sunday, April the 10th, we will be in Seattle, Washington at the Hula Hula Karaoke Bar right there in the gayborhood of Capitol Hill. So get your theme song entries in text, email, whatever. We get them to us however you want to. So
time for the news?
Yeah, here comes the news.
Here comes the news.
Shut your mouth hole, it's time for your ear holes. News.
That's right. Okay, here we go.
You sounded vaguely turned on by your own voice.
I know, well, you know. I was just, it struck me that like we're having this theme song verse contest. That was actually a listener wrote that theme song.
Yeah, and now it's ours.
And now it's ours.
Belongs to us.
News the first. So Seattle Pride has cut ties with Amazon because they donate to anti-LGBTQ plus political candidates. So after a long relationship, Seattle Pride and Amazon are parting ways. Seattle Pride released a statement saying that, quote, "We will no longer be partnering with organizations seeking to make a token gesture." We've talked about it on the show sometimes.
Yeah.
Companies like our money in June when it's Pride Month, and they don't really care much other than that, right?
And they like their names being up front and center so that when they go for recruiting or need to prove that they're like down with the queers, they can be like, look, the word Amazon and gay are so close together on that billboard. Like, that's important, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's I don't think bittersweet is the right word. It's sort of like, it's nice to have companies supporting us, and the visibility of that is great. And also, they're a company. They're there to make money. They know that it is better for them and their image to support gay stuff.
Yeah.
And that whole thing is called rainbow washing or pink washing. Seattle Pride rejected a $100,000 offer from Amazon, who also wanted naming rights this year. In return, they asked that it be called Seattle Pride Parade presented by Amazon. So we said, fuck you. Not doing that. Take your smiley ass box and go away.
Amazon Day celebration brought to you by Stonewall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I have in the past and through the show very much learned a lot about LGBT history. That's in the past I've been like, corporate sponsors, great. Like, we need money. Like, they give us money. It's a win-win. And then you go to learn like there's a place for corporate sponsors. There's a place for people at those companies to be able to feel proud and comfortable and safe in their work environments. And also putting your fucking name in, like, you do not know what it's about. You don't know what's important or what our priorities are. Like, you do not get naming rights to any, like, that's insane. So like when you get to the, like, what they were actually asking is insane. And just like, how did you even, who tried that?
Right. I mean, Amazon tried it.
That
seems right up their alley. So it turns out that the decision was clinched after assessing data from the nonprofit government transparency group Open Secrets. Through that process, Seattle Pride discovered that Amazon has donated more than $450,000 to members of Congress who voted against the Equality Act.
Wow.
Which, had it passed, would have added protections based on sexual orientation and gender identity at a federal level. Quote, we simply cannot partner with any organization actively harming our community through the support of discriminatory laws and practices. So, yeah, Pride isn't for sale. Even if you have Prime.
I mean, it's still a little bit for sale. You can still sponsor it. It's not for sale.
Okay. Seattle Pride is hoping to recoup the losses in sponsorship through donations.
Oh.
So donate.
There's someone once posted something on the internet where I get all my news and information and said, like, we can have Pride with no money.
Sure.
People have marched down streets before with no money. So the idea that money has to be there for Pride to exist, does it really? That's
no, that's true. That's absolutely true. Okay, moving on. News the second?
Yeah.
News the second. I know how you feel about Colton Underwood, Kyle. Colton Underwood, former Bachelor star, who then was the Virgin Bachelor on The Bachelor, and then he was on like 3 different incarnations of the show: Bachelor in Paradise and Bachelor at Your Mom's House, or what? Like they had all the fucking spinoffs.
Bachelor Cribs would be hilarious. Pimp My Bachelor.
So he recently announced that he's getting married. To Jordan C. Brown, who is a political strategist. Yeah, what?
He did like a TV show where Hottie McGee taught him how to be gay, and it worked so well that he's engaged.
Yep, exactly right. Right. Yeah, Gus Canworthy fixed that bitch right up, and now
so
he's getting
quickly.
And now he's getting married.
Wow.
Yeah. He's 30 years old and has been out for exactly 3 seconds and got snatched right up. So
he has abs.
So like former football player checks out. Sure, white, hot. Yeah,
end of list.
But this is I buried the lead quite a bit. He has been pitching to TV networks exclusive coverage of his wedding. Nobody's buying it. He has been unable to secure.
Amazon is looking to sponsor your LGBT event or wedding.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Nobody cares. Nobody's interested in that. I think he's gotten such a backlash for the cis white gay guy saga and coming out so late after being very problematic.
Yeah, for like stalking and harassing people. Like when you're gay, it's challenging navigating the world and relationships and doing what you're expected to. Also, you still can't harass people. That's still just not never harassed. Well, I don't know. I can't say never. I probably did some weird, but you just can't you can't stalk and harass people. It doesn't matter if you're in the closet. That doesn't make it okay. And a lot of people think that, like Kevin Spacey, think that coming out makes the thing they did before. It does make it a bit takes the focus off the news story. So yeah.
Well, I figured that you would enjoy the Schadenfreude that he has not been able to get anybody to cover his wedding.
I mean,
you like it when pretty people fail.
Yeah, but yes, I love when pretty people fail and remind us that they're human people. And also, he was gay for a second and now he's getting married. I can't get annoyed at how he's not getting even more money for being gay and hot, like, because he still is in love, which is annoying.
Yeah, I get that. Okay.
Are you clicking on a news
Well, I do this thing. This happens on the show, like when we record in the studio, where like I get everything all ready and I open all my tabs, and then like by the time we actually talk about the shit, it's moved on to some like there's a fucking ad for Dove soap or something, and it ruins like. So I have to reopen the tab. Anyway, okay.
And you've done nothing to correct that problem.
Nope.
That's fun for
me. Okay, so I know you're already news the last. Okay. I know you're familiar with this story already, but there was an adorable dog in North Carolina named Fezco who was dumped at a shelter by bigots who thought he was gay. So there was a dog.
I mean, okay, tell us the evidence.
Right? Yeah. So apparently the dog humped another male dog, like dogs do.
That's a little gay. Like I'm not arguing with it. Like he might be a gay dog.
Yeah, well, these people showed up at this shelter with this dog, and they said, this dog is gay. You need to take him away from us. Which, if I were the shelter, I'd be like, yeah, that checks out. Give me that dog. Like, that doesn't
Please leave this dog right here. Yeah.
So the internet collectively shed tears. And but it turns out that the Stanley County Animal Protective Services has revealed that Fezco has found a new home with a same-sex couple.
Aww.
Yeah, Steve Nichols and his partner John told local news outlet WCCB Charlotte that they immediately connected with the dog's story after encountering anti-LGBT bigotry and ignorance in their lives, and decided to adopt him, and they renamed him Oscar.
Oh, is that what the movie The Power of the Dog is about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it made what's his name gay.
Oscar?
Yeah, Oscar Wilde. No,
Wait, what?
Who's the hot dude that's in that movie?
Oh, I know nothing about that movie.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I can't go with you on this journey.
Let's talk about it. They named him Oscar after Oscar Wilde, which is right. I thought maybe you were going to. In case it goes without saying, local veterinarian Dr. William Presley assures everyone dog humping is, quote, a dominance thing and a play thing, and is not linked to sexual orientation, unlike in your bedroom.
I was going to say, humping is linked to dominance for me, but that's, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And also, of course, urges people to be more considerate when deciding to get a pet of any kind. Pets are a lifetime commitment.
Unlike children. Pets are a major life decision that you have to deal with. Yeah, I mean, it's insane that anyone would get a pet and then be like, I don't know. This whole story is like, it's too ridiculous to, like, I don't know. It's just like, you're insane.
Like, exactly. Like, so your dog is gay, so what? Like, what does that say about you? Zero.
Yeah.
Also, dogs aren't gay, so deal with that.
But some dogs I'm standing by. There might be some gay dogs.
Your dog is Pan.
He loves to fuck, and I don't want to say that pan people are only judged by the fact that they love. But okay, my dog is open to anything.
Yeah,
that's pan. That's pan.
Yeah,
Panish.
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. I did like this quote at the end of the article. Of all species in the world, homophobia is only found in one.
Which one?
It's us.
Oh,
we human beings.
Oh no! I was hoping it was like flies or something I didn't have to care about.
That's the news.
That's the news.
Yep.
Are you ready to talk about our topic?
As I said at the beginning of the show, we wait to reveal our topic when we have live shows. And, in Family Feud, when they do the part at the end where they reveal reveal the answers and then the audience all says in unison, they all read it together. I want you to do that. So in the count of three, Kyle's going to reveal this week's topic. And then, wait, we need to switch so that they can read it.
You're so smart.
I know, thank you. We're going to reveal our topic on the count of three, and then we want you to say it Family Feud style. 1, 2, 3. That's right. We're going to talk about frat guys.
Guys frat. I don't know. That adds a fun spin. We could have done that.
Guys frat?
Guys frat.
It's the redundancy school of redundancy, I think. But
and for the rest of the show, whenever we say frat guys, we're going to point at you, and then you're going to say it
we
back.
should do finger guns.
Finger guns. Okay, we're going to try it. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, excellent. Good work.
We got it.
Why frat guys, Kyle?
Why? Okay, first of all,
We picked this specifically for Boise.
we did. But before that, I've been wanting to talk about frat guys for so long because in spite of the fact that, like...
For a whole episode. Like, you have talked at length about frat guys.
Right. We've wanted to... Yeah. The topic has never excluded me from talking about frat guys. It's the... Okay, in spite of how I just talked about Colton Underhanes and whatever his name is, like being so annoyed at like hot dudes because it's just like very like hot jack dudes that kind of like get stuff. That's so frustrating. But also I'm like so into them. And it's very frustrating, but like it's also true. So I don't know what to like. I do know what to do with that, and we'll process together. So part of the reason is we're going to talk about frat guys. Sub point under point 1 is that I think for being a gay podcast, other gay podcasts are like, hey, like, you know, we as the hosts are super buff, so we're going to post pictures of us, and that gets people to listen. Or like, you know, we're going to grab some model and put them for doing an episode about frat guys. The promotion opportunities we have are huge. We could get like Instagram would love that shit. We could get so many followers by posting hot shirtless dudes, and we're not going to do it. Yeah. And I don't know. We're just bad at marketing. I think if we're better at marketing, more people would like us because we would play into the part of it. I would just like to be like, no, like we're too good to debase ourselves. Like, but I'm not. I'll talk about that porn later. But specific for Boise. Yep. God, I sound douchey when I do that. Right. Frat guys. Idaho has a lot of frats. University of Idaho has 17 frats. Idaho State University has 16 frats. Boise State has 8. Okay. And Boise State, side note, has the nation's only degree in raptor biology.
You can get a bachelor's degree in raptors?
I have no additional information for you. I have that line that I copied and pasted from the internet.
Like Jurassic Park raptors?
Again, like I have no additional... Was there another interpretation of raptor?
Like birds. Birds are like eagles and hawks are raptors.
What are eagles and hawks but dinosaurs?
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Great.
You now have a degree in raptor biology. So I think I grew up in Texas. I think of frats as being Southern, at least for me, just because I don't know. That's my association with them. Like all the stereotypes about Texas, football, masculinity, cowboys. Like frats to me fits in with kind of that thing. So I think of them as more of a southern thing, but they are everywhere. Idaho, I was surprised to learn how fratty Idaho was. And then a couple recent news stories. In 2020, March 2020, Boise State suspended Phi Kappa Phi for 5 years, and they didn't give any details in the article I read about why. I'm curious if I want to ask locals later if they know the reason why. They were like, it was over the course of several years, something happened, and they got suspended, and it's one of the biggest suspensions. Like usually think like frats are suspended for a year or something that you're like, but they did something bad that we're not revealing.
Well, and for reasons that we will discuss, at a public institution like Boise State, like you have to fuck up real bad, like because it's the government. You have the First Amendment freedom to assemble, so like you have to do something really egregious to have that taken away from you.
The times you don't have the freedom to assemble are during COVID, when there are specific rules about that. And in late 2020, Boise State also had 3 frats suspended for large gatherings during COVID.
Yeah, sure.
Both of those play into all the things I think about and expect from frats, including secrecy. What the fuck did you do that got you suspended for 5 years? The fact that they think they're better than the laws and can just have gatherings when they want to. And, you know, I didn't have a third thing. Okay. But at least I put 3 fingers up on my hand, so I think I'm done. Yeah, so it is a topic that both I wanted to talk about and is specific to Boise.
Out of curiosity, like round of applause. Anybody here in the audience a member of a fraternity or sorority? Just me? Okay, great. Are you also a SIG up? No. Okay. Your dad's a SIG-Ep? Okay.
Wow.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean we're going to talk about that for sure. Yeah, I was a SIG-Ep, Sigma Phi Epsilon, and as undergrad, and I'm still involved. So I have a lot of frat knowledge to drop on y'all.
But we'll start with, because we're a show about stereotypes.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about frat guy stereotypes. Oh,
Sure.
sorry, I should be doing this. We're going to talk about and the stereotypes. I found stereotypes online, and I'm going to read them to you, and you're going to tell me if you think they are true or false.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the definitions on Urban Dictionary for frat is this. I did not.
Hey, Kyle.
Oh, hey, Mike.
When I was a pledge or a new member, I called the fraternity house the frat house, and the guy who was in charge of like my indoctrination into the chapter said, "You don't call your mother a moth, and you don't call your country a cunt. Don't call your fraternity a frat." And that stuck with me.
Literally, first thing in my list is guys getting angry about it. At people calling it a frat.
Can confirm, just did it.
Wow. Frat, it's fraternity, not frat. Frat is a derogatory abbreviation. Would you call your country a cunt?
But that's written on your thing?
That is word for word what it says on Urban Dictionary.
I'm over 40. I can't read that far.
I need to use this to my advantage. Yes, it says that word. No, so the definition, an abbreviation for fraternity that people have a problem with for no arguable reason. So as the conversation, okay, you're doing a frat thing. Okay, in this conversation,
I'm not a frat boy. I'm a fraternity man, Kyle.
Okay. In this conversation that they use as like they give an example of it. Someone says that would you call your country a cunt? Other guy, would you call your mother a mom? Frat guy, oh, I see your point. I obviously have no fucking idea what I'm talking about, and will never again make the obnoxious claim that people should stop using the word frat.
Okay. That's not a reasonable conversation that anybody would have, right?
The conversation I got on Urban Dictionary is not reasonable.
Right, exactly.
So frat guys are annoying about calling them frat guys or being in a fraternity.
Yeah, they were in the 90s anyway.
Why?
I think frat is used in a derogatory fashion, especially like in mainstream media or like even colloquially, I would say. Like frat is that is a vibe, and it is not a complimentary one. And especially chapters that are less fratty, they're a fraternity. Like that's supposed to evoke a different set of judgments and emotional responses, and that you're not buying this. Your face is saying Mike is full of it. Like,
yes, and here's the struggle. If you said, take that exact conversation and put it in a different context, here's my gender, here's the sexual orientation I am, and someone tries to say, no, it's not this, it's this, because that conversation we've had, and it's so fucking frustrating that you just use the name, pronouns, orientation, use the words that I'm telling you to use. So I'm picking up on some of those vibes from this conversation, and it's not different because you were not born a fraternity. This is not your identity, but it also has those same things of I don't like it when you call me a frat guy. Will you call me a fraternity gentleman? Okay, sure. Fine. I don't know. Is it the same thing? And I should just respect it, or my natural instinct is to scoff and be that's so fucking dumb. I'm gonna call you a frat guy.
Yeah. I agree. I get it.
With what side? What do you?
No, I mean it's. I understand the parallel that you're drawing to use the name that people want to be called, use the pronouns that they want to use for themselves. That. I get that. It makes sense. And I think the ship has sailed. The word frat is out there. It is being used. I don't think it's that offensive, but it does annoy some people. Also, some people this is dangerous. Some people just have a chip on their shoulder about shit, and they want to be pissed about something, so they were told that this is something to be pissed about, so they are. That definitely happens.
Well, I also think they get angry because people they act a certain way, then people use the word frat that they use in a way that to mean that like we don't like frats, and then they're like, oh, you don't like frats, so we're gonna make it so like you just act better, be better people.
Yeah.
It's kind of like maybe the associations people have with frat guys is correct.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
A lot of them are. As we know from gay stuff, a lot of stereotypes are there for a
Some
reason.
stereotypes are true. Another stereotype that I found on the internet, this one was a definition on urbandictionary.com. Frat is an annoying collection of insecure guys who need help getting laid.
Sure.
True? Mike says true. Cool.
No, Okay. On the surface, not true. Like that's gross. And I do think that there is a lot of different motivations for joining a fraternity. And I think that insecurity and needing a little help at functioning are definitely like reasons.
Yeah. I think some of the things people complain about are on the defense of frat guys. I think a lot of things that people complain. So hope that depends. Hopefully, I think a lot of people say like I have more. I guess I won't. You're buying your friends. You're insecure. Like you're insecure. Like what freshman in college isn't insecure?
That's
like,
right.
and we join organizations to help us learn about ourselves. Like I think there are very fair criticisms of fraternities, especially when it comes to treatment of gay people or people outside of their experience. Being like insecure, like I don't know. That's why we join groups, to learn about ourselves and who we are. So,
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Another stereotype that I found as a definition on urbandictionary.com is the definition for frat, a group of young men who have generally been douchebags their entire lives and need to spend thousands and thousands of their parents' dollars to continue this legacy through college and by their friends.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
You have to, you can't. Well, are these just so annoying that you don't? Well, buying your friends is definitely, and again, like, what organization do you not have to spend money for? But what do you think about like the buying your friends idea?
I mean, this is deflection, but isn't therapy just buying a friend?
No, nor should it be. What has your therapist been saying?
I mean, I think there are a lot of dots that actually connect in that accusation or statement. And I also think that I went to Eastern Washington University, which is it's on the Washington-Idaho border. It is conservative. It is rural. It is poor, for lack of a better way to put it. And like, we were not buying friends. We didn't have any fucking money. Now, being involved with the fraternity longer term at a national level, seeing the way that it happens at a lot more schools, some of it's just kind of true. Like there's this boys club that is like drugs and alcohol and parties and prestige all wrapped up in a, like, how many zeros can you write on this check? So there's enough of that, I think, that the stereotype is earned. But it's also, like most things, not universal. You can't make that blanket statement and say that it's 100% true all the time. So
I would venture to guess that the monetary, like, it's restrictive. Some people in places where you do have to pay money, or to stay involved have to pay money, unless they're going out of their way to make sure other people can afford it, then that directly causes, like, that to me is more of a fair criticism, because that can directly cause some of the issues with, if it ends up just being well-off white people, at the top,
Yep.
making the decisions.
Yeah, I will add, and I'm going to talk about like the historic and staggering racism of the Greek world a little later on, but I think the same could be said about a lot of other kinds of organizations. Like, sure, you pay your membership dues to play lacrosse, and you're on a lacrosse team, and you go and you play lacrosse together, and because you're on a team together, you bond and are friends. Have you bought your friends? Like, if you want to make that argument, it's the same one, I think.
Yeah. And I think anywhere where there's a significant amount of money involved, and you're right, that includes other things, then you will suffer from it being more white, more people of privilege that are
Sure.
involved in that, and
Yeah.
that can skew the relations.
That's and people. I give a lot of dollar bills to drag queens. That's why we're friends.
That's why we're friends.
Good.
Let's see. Another stereotype from the website urbandictionary.com. They wear the same exact polo shirts and ugly suede shoes.
I was going to ask you how many popped collared polo shirts are necessary, because it's at least 2.
I was never in a frat, but I also, in college, wore 2 popped collared shirts. Like I was like, I'm cool. I
With
can
the backwards hat?
not with the backwards hat. I didn't get into backwards hats until
You
I
would be
was
so
older.
into yourself.
I would. I don't think that's true. Another stereotype: they are extremely racist. We've touched on that with talking about if it's the cost type of people that it attracts. But is it? Do you think it was racist?
The institution is absolutely racist, and we're trying, at least my organization is trying to figure out what to do about that, how to change it, how to fix it. But trying to fix it is a relatively new thing. A lot of it is because of privilege, right? Like going to universities and colleges are whiter than the rest of the population. You have to have money to afford school, and people of color have far rougher in terms of monetary issues in this country. And then you take that already like difficult to cross barrier to entry for people of color, and then add on top of it an organization that selects its own membership and costs money to belong to. Yeah, those financial pressures. Frats very white. Frats are very, very white. Except in Southern California, but.
Last one from the website, urbandictionary.com. Enjoy drinking absurd amount of alcohol while listening to shitty mainstream rap music.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I think the stereotypes are sometimes a lot. There's some foundational and institutional level criticisms that make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
And when you're just like shitty to a group of people for no reason, or just not like not for no reason, like I don't think people communicate it in a way that's, if you just say like, oh, like you buy your friends and you suck, like that doesn't help. That doesn't explain the reasons people are against it. So,
Sure.
Some of these seem to be true. Some seem to be just people shitting on frats.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
That is kind of the nature of frat discourse in our lives.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Kyle, I'm going to tell you about the history of fraternity. It's the history segment. You love the history segment.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention.
Okay, great.
Okay. Yes.
Are you like for real stuff? Okay. So there have been fraternal. What is wrong with my mouth? There are known fraternal organizations that have existed far back as ancient clan hero and goddess cults in Greek religions, and ancient Rome had the Mithraic mysteries. Dudes have been getting together and doing secret weird bullshit for millennia.
How do you, when you go back that far, how do you categorize that as a frat? Like, why is that a frat and not a group of gentlemen?
I'm glad that you asked. The only true distinction between a fraternity and other kinds of social organizations is that the members are freely associated as equals for a mutually beneficial purpose, not because of a religious, governmental, commercial, or familial bond. There are exceptions to all of those, and a lot of fraternities started because of religion, but it's usually like you're choosing to spend time together for some purpose, and that it's not because of the government, and it's not because of religion.
But how's that different than other organizations that I belong to that were not fraternities?
And then also same sex. Like the modern incarnation is that it's same gendered. So the Catholic Church had a bunch of lay organizations that arose in the Middle Ages, and a lot of those have the look and feel of modern fraternities. But the development of modern fraternal orders, like when we think of a frat guy, we think of like a beer pounding Animal House. That whole phenomenon, that's a almost uniquely American thing. And a lot of people ground the reason for that in the Constitution and the fact that the First Amendment gives us the freedom of assembly, and that's not something that is as permissive in most other countries. That especially in the 19th century, this ability to just like, you have the right to get together under the Constitution. Arthur M. Schlesinger was an author that studied all of this. He coined the phrase, America is a nation of joiners, that we just like joining clubs and organizations and doing stuff together. But yeah, so the modern college fraternity has 5 common elements. The first is secrecy. Second is single-sex membership. Again, there are exceptions to all of these, but for the most part. Selection of new members on the basis of a 2-part vetting and probationary process known as rushing and pledging, and then becoming an active or being initiated. Ownership and occupancy of a residential property, the frat house, where undergraduate members live together. And a set of complex identification symbols that may include Greek letters, armorial achievements, ciphers, badges, grips, hand signs, passwords, flowers, and colors.
Is it okay? We talked about the word frat.
Yeah.
And I'll keep using that for now.
Yeah.
But Greek.
Yeah.
Do people still call it that?
Greek, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, Greek letter organizations. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like I've seen people like change to different Panhellenic. What is that?
Panhellenic is an Uber organization. It's what?
They just get around so easily.
Yeah, exactly. It's a ride share for sorority girls. Panhellenic is a like sorority of sororities. Oh. And the National Interfraternal Conference, the NIC, is a fraternity of fraternities.
We're not trying to move away from the word Greek because that's...
Well, it's interesting you say that because my fraternity, Sigma Phi Epsilon, has tried really hard to stop using the Greek letters in like marketing materials and promotional stuff, and has opted for Sig Ep, S-I-G-E-P instead.
Why?
Because of the stereotypes and the connotation that Greek letter organizations get. Because most people, they look at like Greek letters, they can't differentiate them. They weren't like forced to learn Greek in fucking pledge class. And so they're all the same, and they all have the same bullshit attached to them. So let's try to differentiate ourselves by using English letters, and hopefully that sticks like as a brand. And shorten it and make it cute and not sound like Greek letters. Sig Ep. I think it's brilliant. We've been using that logo, that branding for probably 30 years now.
Yeah. I mean, so some of like the shitty stereotypes people have about frats, other frats know this and are doing something like they wouldn't be trying to change their letters if there wasn't a poor association with those letters. So that's nice that at least some organizations within it acknowledge or know that there's some bad associations there.
Yep, absolutely. So the first fraternity in North America that incorporated most of the elements of modern fraternities was Phi Beta Kappa. Are you familiar with Phi Beta Kappa?
No. Do I have to be? Or?
Founded at the College of William and Mary in 1775, but Phi Beta Kappa is also a very prestigious academic achievement, non-gendered organization now that is just, I think it's a 3.5 GPA or higher in order to be a member. It might be more than that, 3.75. Anyway, to be Phi Beta Kappa just means that like you have really, really good grades and you belong to this organization by virtue of that. They don't have houses, they don't throw parties, like it's just smart people.
Oh.
But they made that change in the early 19th century. They became a scholastic honor society, abandoned all of the secrecy and having houses and doing parties and shit like that. So anyway, the first fraternity that is like still a fraternity the way that we think about a fraternity was 1825. Kappa Alpha Society. It was established at Union College, which Union College became known as the mother of fraternities because Kappa Alpha, Sigma Phi, Delta Phi were all founded at the same place. That's the that was the Union Triad, which is still a thing that you'll hear sometimes. The Union Triad.
Never heard that in my life.
Okay, well, great. And then like several more fraternities and sororities were founded at Union College. Anyway, we started having houses. Well, first we started having lodges in 1845 at the University of Michigan. There was a Chi Psi chapter that built this like cabin in the woods because apparently it was you couldn't be in a fraternity at the University of Michigan at the time, and so they had to hide the fact that they had this meeting place that they were getting together at. So they like built this like cabin in the woods and had secret meetings out there so that the university wouldn't find them.
Spot. That's a little gay.
It's a little gay. Absolutely. It's like the first bathhouse. It was out there in the forest. And then the first chapter house where like the members lived there full time together openly is believed to be Alpha Delta Phi's chapter at Cornell. There is a Phi Sigma Kappa chapter house at Cornell built in 1902 that is still in use. So it's been in that for a long time. Sorority started around 1851, so a little bit later, but not like a whole bunch. The term sorority was just invented by a professor of Latin at Syracuse University. I mean, all
words were just invented.
Right.
Like,
well, yeah, but the whole point was like fraternity was like the French used the word fraternité, égalité, liberté.
Oh, never mind. They're very different.
But nothing like sorority existed as a concept, and we needed one because somebody said, well, fraternity, to call these chicks hanging out at this, Greek letter place, a bunch of brothers for like fraternity, that's weird. Let's make a new name. So let's see. And there are still a lot of sororities actually that call themselves women's fraternities. That's a thing, and that tells you something about the age, like when they were founded. That means they're probably one of the older ones. You're right that a lot of these got started in the South. The South, it's
I'm
more
not being right by accident.
More of a Southern thing, and a lot of that is about race and privilege and money as well. Okay. Religious discrimination. Most fraternities, at least when they got started, like in the 18th and 19th century, had a requirement that you be Christian. And they, so much so that the first Jewish fraternity got started in 1895 because no other fraternity would have them. Wow. So they made their own. And
I don't think of fraternities as... I don't think of them as being based in religion, as like, I don't like, oh yeah, sure. I bet Christians love fraternities. Like I think of them sometimes being at odds, but at the same time, some of the things we're describing like have the similar kind of like, there's some secrecy, there's, a lot of dudes, a lot of white dudes, a lot of people with money that are part of it. Like, yeah. It's interesting that I can see where it could have started in the same place, and I think probably have some of the same issues.
Yeah, well, jumping ahead a little bit, like at the beginning, they were very serious, scholarly. They were the people that studied Greek in school. The whole like let's rage phenomenon started in the 60s and later. So this conversion to just drinking and fucking and raising hell is that's the modern incarnation of fraternity life. That's not what it was like at the beginning. There's also a big like change right after World War II because all the GIs came back and then they went to school and then they brought back a lot of like tradition and culture and stuff with them that was not all good. I wanted to mention real quick that my fraternity, SEGEP, we removed the requirement that you be Christian in 1933, which is very early. So race discrimination, lots and lots and lots of them, especially the southern ones, had a requirement that you be white. So they were white Christian organizations explicitly in their rules. Greek letter organizations are still over 70% white. That caused a bunch of non-white fraternities to also then pop up. So the first Greek letter all-black fraternity was Alpha Kappa Nu at Indiana University in 1903. That's pretty early. Yeah. I didn't even know enough black people were going to school then. It's like women haven't been going to college for a really long time. Like we live in the future, Kyle.
And also the past.
Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, aka, is the first intercollegiate historically African American sorority. They were founded in 1908. My organization removed the requirement that you be white in 1959. And there was a big old fight about it. Like one of our founding fathers like flipped out and said that he was going to disown the fraternity if we allowed people of color. It was really gross.
And that's why you shouldn't listen to what the founding fathers say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. God, the worshiping the ground that they walked on, like they could do no wrong. Like,
Yeah.
Originalists suck. Okay. And then as far as like gay stuff is concerned, there are very few actual prohibitions against gay membership. And a lot of that's because there's this sort of don't ask, don't tell aura about them already anyway. And we're sort of overlooked. Like we did a really good job, gay people, I mean, did a really good job of hiding the fact that we were gay. And a lot of us have been Greek for a really long time, but it's not like we were in large numbers where somebody thought, we need to put a rule on the books to get these gays out of here. That just didn't happen that much.
I just assumed that was people didn't. The assumption was heterosexuality. Like people didn't even think about gay people. Like we didn't even need a rule because they didn't even exist. Like the idea of creating a rule would force. You'd have to know about them, dislike them, and then put the rule in the book that they couldn't be there. Where I think that's one of the values to our progress is that like sometimes you slip by and you're like, oh fuck, they were gay, like, and that can help change your mind about things. But it's I assume that it was the assumption of heterosexuality that.
Yep, absolutely, that's for sure true. But the toxically masculine thing didn't exactly mean that the out and proud crowd was participating. So the first gay fraternity was Delta Phi Upsilon that started in 1985. And that was specifically for gay men. And Delta Lambda Phi started in 1986 at George Washington University by Vernon L. Strickland III, which that name is pretty gay. But it's all men regardless of sexual orientation were allowed to join. My fraternity, SIGEP, we explicitly allowed gay brothers in 1999, which is interesting because I was an undergraduate when that happened, and I remember hating it. I remember like because I was so super closeted, and I was like in this Greek organization, and I was threatened by the idea that like it was going to be the gay fraternity. It was like there's a lot to unpack there, Kyle.
Are we putting a butt plug in that? We coming back into it later?
We can. Yeah,
okay. That's
Put a butt plug in that. Yeah, I was super anti that legislation, big time. Okay, so trans issues are very much the cutting edge of fraternity stuff too. So in 2014, my organization became the first fraternity in the NIC to allow trans brothers, anybody identifying as male, as allowed to join. I mean, but that's only 7 or 8 years ago. So it really is changing quickly. Several sororities have adjusted their policies to also confirm that trans members are allowable. We're doing better than schools in Florida, I guess.
If that's the benchmark, oh boy. Yeah, and fraternities are this just bastion of unequal power. It is crazy. Since 1900, 63% of cabinet members, president's cabinet, have been members of fraternities and sororities. The CEOs of 5 of the Fortune 10 are fraternity and sorority members. 85% of all justices of the U.S. Supreme Court since 1910 have been members of Greek organizations. Presidents, both Bushes, President Clinton, President Reagan, President Ford, President Roosevelt, all were Greek. 3 prime ministers of Canada were in fraternities. About a quarter of the House of Representatives is Greek, and about 40% of the U.S. Senate were Greek. So there's a lot of just straight white power wrapped up in fraternities. It's got to change. Are you ready for me to talk about my Gayda?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the gay fraternity experience and how it has changed over time.
Sure. Okay.
We'll talk more about your specific experience, but this is a study
I'm going to tell you about all of the hazing, Kyle.
Oh God, I'm so excited, and I'm so nervous that it's not going to be as sexual as I want it to be. So I'm trying to brace myself. Okay, in this study, there is not, understandably, or kind of expect, not that much data on gay fraternity members' experiences, and so this is all new. So I found a study that actually looked back at all the previous studies and put together some of the info that they learned from that. So I'm going to actually, this is kind of like a meta study. Yeah, they also did their own study to add to it, but this is experiences and perceptions of gay and bisexual fraternity members from 1960 to 2007, a cohort analysis by Susan R. Rankin, Gayish, and Genevieve N. Weber from the Journal of College Student Development, Volume 4, Number 6, November, December 2013. What?
It says Graham Hesp.
What?
I know that bitch.
You do?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like your friends?
It's chapter brother. Or not chapter brother, fraternity brother. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
All right, go ahead. Keep going.
It was a great study, top notch, very well done. I think. No, so okay. From what we do know from studies of gay members in fraternities and sororities, LGBT participants joined. Like most studies, trans members are often not studied and need to be studied more. So we have LGBT participants joined fraternities and sororities. The perception is that, especially with like my jokes about like I'm into frat guys and think they're super hot and want to get
the gangbang showers, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Studies confirm people join fraternities for similar reasons as heterosexual students, like friendship, social activities, and a sense of belonging.
Okay.
Most respondents, 85%, reported satisfaction with their fraternity and sorority experience.
Sure.
So that's higher than I expected from gay fraternity members. I would have expected far more dissatisfaction.
Okay. Because?
I don't know, the obvious. Like, I don't know, you're like in a frat with a bunch of like dudes that I think would maybe not be totally cool with you being gay, and like that would be a struggle, and all these like masculine norms, and you may be, I don't know, rejected or beat up, or like there's a lot of like, it seems like it could be very scary to be gay. So the fact that 85% of people...
It's scary to be gay everywhere, Kyle.
It's true, but especially around a bunch of straight drunk dudes.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the scariest places to be gay.
Yeah.
Approximately, a 1996 study said that approximately 6% of fraternity members and 4% of sorority members identified as LGB.
What percentage?
6 in frat and 4% in sorority.
Okay. All right. I mean, the bisexual numbers always like are harder to pin down, but that seems like a lot, or at least like close to general population.
Yeah, like especially for a 96 study, like that seems in line with our expectations of LGBT people that exist in the world. So yeah, that seemed about right.
Sure.
40% of respondents said that they revealed their sexual orientation to one or more members of their chapter while enrolled as a student.
Okay.
Did you come out to a chapter member first? Is that
very first?
I don't know. However you wanna.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I did.
And also,
but I was in my 30s. Like I didn't come out until later in life.
Right. And
there's One Ball Dan.
Oh, One Ball Dan.
One Ball Dan's the first guy I told.
He was your big?
Little?
Okay, great. He's taller than you. That's not. You didn't get it right. And also 70%. There's some interesting like conflicts in some of this data, which I mean, as anyone, not conflicts, but like just conflicting kind of signs. Over 70% of respondents indicated having experienced homophobic or heterosexist attitudes within their chapter. So it's interesting. Like, you know, almost half of people came out to other people in their chapter, and also most people experience some kind of homophobia within their chapter.
Sure.
Did you experience a lot of anti-gay shit?
It's a great... I mean, we'll get more into this in a little bit, but like frats are so gay. Like there's so much homoeroticism that's happening, and I think that like you get any number of 18 to 22-year-old cis dudes together for any length of time, like there's going to be some weird shit that happens, and fraternities are very much that way. But there's also like some very homophobic language that comes out of that. Like, despite showing each other your balls all the time, like you're going to say that guy's a faggot. Like it's weird. It doesn't make sense, and it happens.
Speaking of things that don't make sense, even though chapters were often reluctant to offer membership to out people.
Yeah.
Once people came out, they were typically supported.
Yes.
Which that's my ride. I gotta go, everybody. That's to me is, I mean, kind of what we're talking about, like skating through, like you skate through unnoticed a little bit, and then people get to know you, and they accidentally come to like you, and then surprise, you're gay. Like that's something that for some LGBT people, we get to do that, and other people don't have that luxury or that experience or whatever. Like, so I think we're in this weird middle ground in time where now people are starting, like, it's that same idea of like, I don't know you, so all I know about you is you're gay, so I'm not going to offer you a spot, because like I just thought about how that connects to just life in general of it's easier to get to know someone and be friends with them if you don't know anything about them by hiding that you're gay. And if you're out about being gay, then there's a chance that they will just not like you right there. Yep. And that will ruin it. And I think more and more like people will learn that they will have more gay friends growing up. It will become more accepting and more tolerant so that they don't have those attitudes. But we're in this stage where more and more people are out among a crowd of still homophobic people.
Sure.
So I don't know. I think frats have a surprisingly similarly mirroring that in their like acceptance kind of process.
I think when is all this data from?
It's a review of literature between the 90s and aughts.
Okay, because Gen Z is going to save the world, y'all. Gen Z is fucking amazing. They are like just incredible. They give zero fucks about sexual orientation. They give zero fucks about gender identity. Like they are just amazing. And all of my current undergraduate chapters, granted, it's the Pacific Northwest, so there's a demographic thing that happens there in terms of progressivity, but they, even at Eastern Washington University, they have recruited an out gay member before. Like, not in the chapter, super gay, totes join us anyway. That did not and would not have happened at my school when I was an undergraduate in the 90s. However, just backing up what that said, we had several chapter members who, after they were already part of the in group, then came out, and they were more or less accepted. And that's a fairly common story, at least from my generation, of, you know, once you're no longer strangers, once you're bonded, and then I find out you're gay, okay, great. Yeah. It's fine. I can accept that. We can move on. But this danger of like, don't recruit the gay kid because then you're the gay fraternity. There's weird pressures there that were really an obstacle, a barrier that Gen Z just doesn't seem to fucking have. They just don't.
Yeah. Some of this data said that people didn't, even gay people, especially if they were closeted, didn't vocalize opposition to anti-LGBT things because there is a pressure in fraternities to be like your togetherness, your brotherhood, your like we have these shared values. So they didn't feel comfortable speaking out against some of the bad behavior and homophobia within frats.
Yep.
I think that's one of the scary parts of fraternities to me, is this environment of you. It's like, it's good for social groups to have this. We care about each other. We share things. We're learning. We're growing together. You know, live, laugh, love, etc. But like, I don't know. But when it's like it is us over everyone else, and we have some things that are secret, and don't ask about those. It's just for us, and defend your brothers to the death. Like there's some way of like bonding, or that's like feels dangerous. Sure. And seems like it could be difficult to move forward anything that you want, because what you're saying doesn't support the fraternity. It's supposed to be brotherhood, and you're the one complaining. Like,
yeah. Okay. I get that. I want to validate your fears because feelings are valid.
Mine's often aren't.
Let's isn't that what Chosen Family is about? Like, do you see the parallels there? That like you pick your group, and like there are gay softball teams that act very much the same as that in Seattle. Like they all have their backs, and they all do their thing, and they all have their uniform, and they all have the things that they say, and their inside jokes, and they.
But it's that to the extreme. It's that to you will always pick your fraternity over anyone else. It is. We will do secret stuff that you're not allowed to tell anyone else. It is we voted on this fraternity to be kicked out for something, but we're not going to tell you why. Like there's a level of like bonding and commitment to each other that crosses a line then into there can be really shitty, horrible things going on that no one's allowed to talk about because they would be speaking out against that group. Like it seems like it could be like, there's a line there that I feel like fraternities are past and softball clubs are not.
Okay.
I don't know what, maybe it's the secrets. I don't know. There's something there that to me pushes it over the line.
I think there's also something to be said for like chapters that have houses that live with each other. Like there's a different level, like team sports can do it. Living together, like sharing a living space also can. There's a weird like bonding thing that happens. It like is a strong, I don't know. Yeah.
The TV show Pose is basically about a fraternity. They all live together.
Maybe.
Yeah. No. Over 80% of non-heterosexual men and 60% of non-heterosexual women held at least one Greek executive committee position during their collegiate years. One of their theories on like how, especially earlier when more people had to be closeted, how people dealt with that being closeted. And some people try to excel in every other area of their life to keep those things in order and keep them perfect, or trying to overachieve to get acceptance. But whatever it is, great, where there's a lot of queer people in leadership positions.
Yep.
And I think gay people are natural leaders. I think gay people tend to like, get like rise up to like positions of power. And I think there's something that fraternities also have, but were there lots of gays on the executive committee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it happens over and over and over again. You see, one of the tropes, right, is that like the chapter president then decides to come out because he's clawed his way to the top of the chapter's leadership structure, and now it's safe to. But something you were talking about is, I think, absolutely true. The overachieving, self-loathing gay is absolutely a thing. Like you can taste the desperation that they're like a super high performer because they're trying to make up for like the feeling of not being loved for who they are. Yeah. It's a thing. Yeah. I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me. Fraternity and sorority members, being a fraternity and sorority member was negatively associated with their openness to diversity.
Okay.
So these studies found that, similar to what I was saying, there is a familial environment of the College of Fraternity and Sorority as both supportive and hostile. They're supportive of their own, the people in their group, and not of other people. So studies say that they are less supportive of diversity than other students.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that aligns with what we were talking about.
Yeah, just like the GOP, right?
So this study then went back over these studies, looked at different groups, and then also added its own survey of groups of people. They categorized people into three groups, three cohorts: people before 1990, people 1990 to 99, and 2000 or later. And overall, generally very good things are happening. You can look through those three cohorts and see that frats are gay people in frats are more likely to, it's basically anything you'd expect, reported a positive experience in a frat, be out in a frat, rate a fraternity as being friendly, communicative, concerned, respectful, feeling okay about their personal safety. Like all of these things have improved over time in fraternities for gay people, which is great. The biggest piece of data that that they found through this study and I didn't have any more information on, but really what this has all been building to is that a majority of participants, regardless of cohort, reported that it was unlikely or very unlikely that they engaged in same-gender sexual activity with members of their own fraternity chapter. That's so disappointing, right?
I mean, it's not everybody. We're going to talk about that for sure.
It's most people don't.
Yeah.
Fraternity members, fuck your bros. I mean, it's part of me knew it was true, but then a study confirmed it, and it just, what's that porn I've been watching then? I have documentary evidence that I'll talk about later. That's gay porn study. That's not what my mind needs to, okay. Gay fraternity studies.
Okay. Thanks for the data, Kyle. Appreciate
I can't
you.
stop thinking about gay porn now, but that's fine.
Well, we can talk about gay porn too. We're going to. This could be a shorter segment. I just wanted to talk to you about the 2016 film Goat.
Yeah, I've never heard of this.
And how much I love Nick Jonas.
Oh. Okay, my turn.
Great.
No,
Nick Jonas was in Goat. So was James Franco, who was a producer.
Huh.
And it was directed by Andrew Neil and written by David Gordon Green.
Is Nick Jonas a frat guy?
Nick Jonas is a frat guy.
Oh, God.
Nick Jonas is...
That's my sexual identity.
Nick Jonas is Brett.
Of course.
Brett, who is a established fraternity man on campus, and the story follows his 19-year-old brother, Brad, who starts college determined to get his life back to normal after having a terrifying assault over the summer. So Brad is desperate to belong, so he wants to join the fraternity that his brother, Brett, Nick Jonas, is already in. And so really the whole movie is about just the horrible behavior, the horrible hazing rituals of this kid joining this chapter, and all of the things that his biological brother helps subject him to. So if you want to see Nick Jonas haze the shit out of some people,
God,
you put his hat backwards and yell at bros. This is your movie, Kyle.
I was about to ask, is it gay? But that's gay to me. But is it explicitly gay?
It's not explicitly gay, no. But I mean, there's a lot of it is a disturbing watch. It's very difficult to watch. I think it's important but very uncomfortable because it shows.
I'm important but uncomfortable. Oh, yeah.
It shows a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about, but it shows them like making them drink and it like rolling around in disgusting shit like food, and there's this point where they have to drink a whole bunch, and if they don't drink enough, if they don't succeed, then they have to sodomize a goat, and then they have to kill it.
It's
together.
called Goat after the goat?
Well, and that they called the new members goats. They were all goats, Kyle, but one of them was actually a goat.
And they had to sodomize a goat?
They had to fuck the goat and then kill it. If they didn't,
I can't tell if the goat's a real goat anymore.
It's a real goat. It's a real goat.
Okay, but there are human goats.
They're human goats. The new guys are called goats.
Okay.
Like, all right, goats, line up. That kind of shit.
I'm half
that hot?
hard already. Yeah.
Which we were called poops in my chapter when we were new.
Why?
Just because it's funny.
Okay. Touche fraternities.
All right, poops, listen up.
Wow.
For sure something I said.
Were you like a frat leader person who like yelled at younger frats?
Yeah, I was a chaplain, and then I was a vice president of programming. Yeah.
We're gonna talk about more about your experience.
Yeah.
So I don't want to. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, and beating the shit out of them, but never like where teachers or students can see.
Oh, fuck.
So like at the torso, especially. In the movie, Brad's pledge brother dies of a heart attack while exercising on the track field, and then they discover all of these bruises on the body, and there starts this investigation, and then the frat guys circle the wagons, right, and are lying about. Cover it up. This take it to your grave. Anything for your frat bros thing that you're touching on as is part of the plot here. And see the movie. It's very uncomfortable. There is a lot of shirtlessness in it, so it's basically a normal frat house. But
and without any explicit homosexuality,
right?
So
right.
that could be gay.
But what?
See the podcast.
Oh, that could be gay. Yeah, absolutely. It should have been. Yeah, the movie Goat should have been gay, y'all. But what I want to talk about is consent.
Okay.
And I want to talk about the idea that a lot of these hazing rituals, there are these new members who go into that knowing full well that they're going to have to do this ridiculous, horrible shit in order to get into the chapter. Is that consent? Because I would maintain that it is not. I don't think consent means that the hazing is okay, but that's an argument that you will hear. Like, even though they're only 19 or 18 years old, they're adults. On the heels of our incest episode, this is very, very, very problematic. But like if two consenting adults want to throw Lucky Charms on each other and roll around in mayonnaise, like, why is that not
a frat thing?
Yeah. What?
Don't say yeah as if that should have been obvious that frats do that.
There are a lot of rituals in a lot of chapters that involve food. Mine did not, but some that I'm familiar with do. Like make you eat weird shit or make you put weird shit on your body, like food items,
and then lick it off,
or like put Nutella in your underwear and then have to wear them and go to class, like shit like that. Okay, stay with me here.
I can't. Okay. Go to class with Nutella underwear?
Yeah.
Do I like that or do I hate it? I can't tell.
Where I'm going with this, Kyle,
okay, sure,
is like the power structures that are involved are very egregious. But there are kids that sign up for and do these things willingly, knowing that that's what they're signing up for because their older brother told them about it or because they've heard the stories or whatever.
I mean, do they know what they're signing up for? Like, they know some extreme things. Like, do they know how extreme?
Good question.
Like, that's
the desire to belong is very strong. Like, you'll put up with a lot of shit if it means like not getting rejected by people that you view as people that you want to, be friends with, associate with.
Yeah.
I just think it's really, really interesting. The dynamics that are involved are really interesting.
I think, when you talk about consent, it is not just the yes or no. It is consent should also be enthusiastic. There should be opportunities to retract it. So there are other elements like beyond just the basic understanding of a yes that I think plays into this as well. Of are you participating and doing so enthusiastically? Are you given opportunities to withdraw at any point in time if needed?
Sure.
And that might be some of the time, like if you withdraw, what's the repercussion? And they will probably treat you shitty or you'll get kicked out. Like, do you actually have a real opportunity to withdraw from this? That might not be true.
We're running out of time, so we're going to move it along.
To porn?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about fucking other on film. Frat guys fucking frat guys on film, Kyle. Here we go. Let's talk about it. Frat porn.
Oh, man. I wish it was just more exciting and uplifting, but there's some heavy things in here. I'm going to talk about Fraternity X.
Great. The documentary site Fraternity X.
Documentary film site, who, when it first started, purported to be a real fraternity based in Arizona State University, has since changed to say that they are a fraternity in Arizona at a university, probably for legal reasons.
I know some frat guys that went to Arizona State, and it's probably real.
I was looking up things about this, and there's some TikToks that are like, you go to ASU, like you're looking for which one's the frat X one, right? Like there's some. I think that was a joke. I hope that was a joke, but there's some people that don't totally know that this is that porn is not real and this is not I don't know. I saw a Reddit post where someone was like, "Is that actually a fraternity?" It was like, "Oh, honey, no, the guys in Fraternity X are not real fraternity members that decided to film this to pay their way through college."
Right.
I know what it says on the entry. I know very well what it says on the entry of the site, but that's not true. It is. It is both very hot to have a bunch of frat guys fucking someone. That's like my dream. But also it surprisingly can also be very problematic.
Sure.
The website straight up
Gangbangs can be problematic, Kyle. Make that bumper sticker.
Consent as in a fraternity, in a simulated fraternity environment, the idea of consent, they're intentionally playing with that in this fictional thing.
Sure.
So the website straightupgayporn.com talked about Fraternity X and said, over the past year, Fraternity X has featured illegal drug use, homophobia, xenophobia, beer bottles, vomit, water wasting, duct tape, a cum dumpster with restless leg syndrome.
Well, until you got to cum dumpster, all of it was real.
No. Oh, I mean, he's really a cum dumpster. It's it's in a fictional stage.
Okay. All right.
Vomit, water, hazing, duct tape, a cum dumpster with restless leg syndrome, and Katy Perry. As background music, they had a gangbang called, as far as I can tell, Trump Pump.
Oh, nice.
Where in a fraternity, one of the guys comes out, the other, red hat wearing men, then fuck him.
Oh.
While cheering for Trump.
Oh, God.
Some of the lines that I liked the best while I was watching.
Okay, great.
At the very beginning, the guy said he doesn't. Oh no, one of them said he doesn't like gays. Oh no. The future cum dump or whatever. When explaining to the other frat men in their intelligent discourse about this, why he didn't like Trump, he said he doesn't like gays. And someone responded, "What's wrong with that? No one likes gays." There's a part of me that I'm kind of on his side a little bit. Yeah, gays are a lot. I get it, dude. Some of the things chanted while these Trump supporters fucked him were "dig into his butt." Oh, God. Why? There was a guy from Texas they kept calling Texas, and someone said to give him that diesel drive shaft.
Oh, God.
Give him that Trump Tower? Is that
like an Eiffel Tower?
No. He was specifically referring to his dick as a Trump Tower.
Okay.
I've never done that.
Sure. Was
it
covered in gold?
There were no condoms. It was covered in nothing. Make his ass great again.
Okay.
Someone got them beer and they were excited and they said, "That's what I call a political party."
Great.
And when one of them started coming in his ass, the other one said, "That goes so deep, we're lubricating his throat."
Oh.
It's kind of poetic. That's an image, sir.
Also says a lot about ASU's anatomy and physiology courses, I think. That's how they think that works.
I think Emily Dickinson wrote that. I get there's something beautiful about that imagery. I don't know. How do you feel about a porn about a group of Trump dudes fucking a gay guy?
You watched it.
I researched.
It was all for the pod.
The orgasm I had at the end was involuntary.
I mean, I think we've talked a lot about the things that are simulated in porn and how problematic are they, and I think that there's nothing. It's some interesting stuff that they're playing with there, right? The sort of not broy. What's the word? The angry white guy stuff that is part of the right. I think that there's that twinge of violence to a lot of gay porn that seems like a perfect vehicle for it.
And you're so you're so gay and you don't like Trump, we'll fuck you about it.
Right.
That's there's something very interesting there. And I feel very weird about I don't know how does viewing this then translate to, I don't know.
Did they indeed make his ass great again?
I loved it. Okay. So I think there was no problem with it to start with.
Great.
That's same can't be said for America. The other similar politically themed gangbangs they've had. One is an award-winning gangbang called "Grab Him by the Mussy."
Ooh. No.
Which I looked that up because I was like, but the word is bussy. Why? Apparently, mussy is man pussy. Like, I don't. Is it porn? So they can't say boy because boy has an implication of age. Like, I don't know why.
Like the censors are down with all of the dicks, but like that word, it's got to stop.
On their homepage, they said we had to remove 2 videos because Visa and MasterCard changed their rules that, we're working to get them back up shortly. And I was like, what does that mean? Yeah. What could that possibly be referring to? There is, you'll be glad to know, one that is pro-Biden called Trumpster Dumpster.
Oh, God.
In it, this one I read, I just grabbed these from the article. The things that people yell at while they're fucking this dude is Biden 2020, bitch. Make his hole loose again.
Okay.
They had it better. The first one was better. And they apparently chanted Kamala Harris's name.
Oh my God.
So I don't think we took what I always think about is I go right to, is there data or studies that tell us whether is it good or are these things fantasy? This is clearly this is terrible behavior. The idea that you came out, so a bunch of dudes are going to fuck you and convince you to love Trump or something. All of it, the whole vibes of this are really shitty, really and that's there's Dom something that's the hot part. That's why I'm into these things. But it's are these okay for humans to watch? Does this affect your perceptions? Does this translate into, and I just think that's something we don't know. Their studies into gay porn are actually very recent, within the past less than 10 years. There is a journal that is actually releases studies about gay porn. Existing human sexuality journals have started to include studies about it. So it's one of those things that if you say that I am someone who studies gay porn academically, everyone will be like, oh, okay, so me too, high five. But it is something that is really important, and I want to know more about this. And we just don't know enough about it. It's an area of academic study that people would make fun of or disregard, and has been, and probably why it's so recent. What we do know is things we see in porn do affect us, gay and bi men who watch men on porn have greater body image issues. We're less likely to use condoms if we see bareback sex. So things that we're seeing are translating into our real life. And to what degree, what kind of porn then should be made, or how should it be made? That I don't think we know that quite yet.
Yeah.
So, but it's super hot. Love it. Super fun. Check it out. It's great. That's the gay porn angle.
Well, I was wondering about the Westermark effect, and we talked about it in the incest episode, and whether some of that is present for fraternity stuff.
Oh, like people that look like me.
Yeah. And the big bro, little bro, gonna bang thing. If that's more taboo because of the word brother, when you're fraternity brothers, does that make it more taboo? And I know for a lot of people, therefore hotter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so we are running out of time, but I definitely wanted to do a quick show and tell.
Okay.
Are you ready? So because this is an audio medium and I have to stand up,
I have to say things.
You have to say something real quick.
Okay.
I want you to describe my tattoo for everybody, because I have a frattoo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, it's very fratty because it's around your ankle. It's the whatever is fraternity for E. O with a line through it, an actual E. And you got a heart with a skull inside. No.
It's the number 135. So that's which is my pin number. So I was the 135th member of my chapter.
Wow, that's tattooed on you.
It's tattooed on me. Yeah, 19-year-old Mike got to decide to permanently scar me forever.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So that's my frattoo. They were very big in the 90s. I don't know if they're as big now.
Did other people get them?
Yeah, lots of people.
Other people had you.
Around me. But my other show and tell item is as part of big bro, little bro stuff in my chapter, the big bro would buy a sweater that had the letters on it, Sigma Phi and Epsilon, and then the little bro would in return give the big bro a decorated paddle with which they would then get hit in the ass. And so this is the paddle that my little bro made me, One Ball Dan, who's been on the show. He's One Ball Dan because he only has one testicle because he had cancer. This is the paddle that he made for me. And I'm wondering if you have any observations. You've seen it before because it's on the wall at my place.
It's hanging on the wall. Did he ever paddle you with it?
No, girl. I beat the shit out of him with it.
You beat the shit out
No,
of him?
just I tapped him in the butt a couple of times with it. Like, I'm a pacifist. Like I couldn't handle that.
Oh, they were like, do it. And you're like, yeah, beep.
Yeah. Although I was told when my big bro hit me in the ass with the paddle that I had just gave him, he was like, bend over and grab your junk. And I was like, why? And apparently because they don't want to accidentally because you're bent over, accidentally hit your balls.
Bend over and grab your junk. That's not the first thing I would think is you're about to get a paddle in.
Yeah. Do you want me to hit you with it?
Yes. In the bedroom, I would say harder, Daddy, but this is a public place. A once respectful music festival took place until we took the stage.
So I have never knowingly had sex with a fraternity brother, my chapter or otherwise. It's a very large national organization, and to me, that is a line that I cannot and will not cross. And gay fraternities, there's a Delta Lambda Phi has a hands-off policy, it is written in their rules, don't fuck each other. We have no such rule, and many of my gay fraternity brothers are perfectly fine banging SIGAP brothers. It's a thing that happens. Do you have feelings about that? If you in a parallel universe were in the SIGAP chapter of the University of Texas at Austin, do you
this is the thing. So many of my fantasies, I don't want to actually happen. If I went into a group of frat guys, I would be so uncomfortable and nervous, and I would barely talk to people, and any kind of sexual thing, I would just be uncomfortable and run away. So it's one of those things that I think is fun to think and fantasize about, but I don't think I think I could fuck one of them. I think I could hook up. I don't think I have that kind of mental block that you might. Not mental block. You said, I don't have that kind of. I would be fine with that.
All right. Well, maybe someday I'll get over it. I've been thinking about whether I should revise that policy again, going with the two consenting adults. What's my hang up? Because I have some hot fraternity brothers. And some of them want to bang. So,
really?
Yeah.
Do you have a list of names that you could?
I will show you later, girl.
The after show.
Yeah, the after show. Stay for the after show. So did we do it?
Yeah. I want to ask you about so much more about your...
We could talk. We have a whole podcast.
Okay, great.
So we talked a lot about... Excellent. So, inexplicably, every single episode since the very beginning, Kyle and I take a break. And when we take a break at our live shows, we take a break and a shot. So, should we take a break, Kyle?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's take a break as soon as I can figure out how to get it to play the break song.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
Picked the frattiest shot I could. Fireball.
Ooh, that's fratastic.
Yeah, it's fratastic. Okay. Are we back?
We're back.
Yeah, we're back. Okay, be thinking about your Gayest and Straightest. If you want to participate, that moment to do so is going to be here in just a tiny, tiny bit. But first, our website is gayishpodcast.com.
We are on social media at Gayish Podcast.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails, is 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. A couple of programming notes. We were, again, on Two Old Queens last night, so be on the lookout for that episode when it drops. We talked all about Grease and how it was inferior to Grease 2 in the eyes of many, apparently. And again, we will be in Portland next weekend, April 3rd. on Sunday at 1 p.m. at the Hop Capital Brewing. And we will be in Seattle on April 10th on Sunday at the Hula Hula Karaoke Bar. That's at 2 p.m. Pacific. And now we're going to do our Gayest and Straightest, sponsored by Spaces. Spaces, a new group chat app for niche queer communities by Hornet.
Do you want to go first?
I am happy to go first. The gayest thing about me this week, we don't have a Dutch Bros in Seattle. We do have one back home in Eastern Washington, but and the line is always so long. I'm like, I'm not waiting in the fucking line for coffee. There's a Dutch Bros right here in Boise, and so we hopped in there. It was Kyle's fault. And but the gayest thing about me is the fact that I giggled and couldn't quite get through my order because I ordered a medium hot golden eagle and I thought it sounded like a sex position. So I started giggling about.
I don't golden eagle on the first date,
Right,
but you might.
Exactly.
And that's fine.
Yeah, the hot golden eagle, Dutch Bros.
Was it good?
It was good. It's like a caramel macchiato kind of a thing. It was good. And the straightest thing about me this week was last night we were at dinner with the two old queens, and I kept looking at the TV trying to figure out if Gonzaga basketball was on because I have money on them for March Madness.
Why?
I know.
How?
I give zero fucks about basketball, but I have a $50 bet on them. So I didn't want to watch the game. I just wanted to see if they won or not.
Yeah, yeah.
But the fact that I gave a shit at all is like super straight.
Yeah. My gayest is so you took a picture of us on the airplane flying over here to our Instagram. You took one picture and posted it without asking me, and I was like, we're homosexuals. There are policies and procedures that you had to sign up for. And this, no, I really don't give a fuck. But it was just very funny that my initial reaction of we're gay, we're supposed to be able to review and approve all photos that go up on Instagram. My initial my straightest is that I have the straight dad thing of a box of cords. I don't need them or use them, but I have them just in case. I needed a little outlet splitter thing.
Yeah.
And I went to my box of cords and I had one.
Oh,
the box of cords
that's you won.
And random electronics worked.
You did it.
Yep. So that joy that was actually useful for something. Does anyone want to share with us their gayest and straightest?
By the way, yeah, come on up.
I'm Dustin, and my straightest moment, I went on a ski trip this week.
Great.
And as I drove through Moab, I realized that my car was absolutely coated in mud, and it made me feel incredibly masculine and cool. And I pulled up at a stoplight next to 3 Jeeps. They were also coated in mud, and they gave this slow nod at me. I drive a Kia Soul. And my gayest came moments later when I fantasized about all 3 of those Jeep drivers.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You had a muddy Jeep orgy. I love it. You want a mug? Or a shirt? Those are your options. Okay, great. Awesome.
In a Kia Soul, you have to earn that head nod. That's not an easy thing to do.
I forgot to mention that I'm bribing everybody with you can either have a gayish mug or you can have a gayish T-shirt if you share your gayest or straightest. Anybody else want to share? Yeah.
All right. My name is Alicia. My straightest was that I cried really hard during Pride and Prejudice last week. It's so straight and I cry every time. My gayest was that I got to take my girlfriend backstage to see Snail Mail at Treefort Music Stage, which she's the queerest artist right now. And we were, that was probably the gayest.
Excellent.
Yeah. It was great. She was incredible. Yeah. But it was a lot of lesbians in that crowd. It was fantastic.
Excellent. Excellent. I want to be where the lesbians are.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll find you in a little bit and get you some merch. Yeah. Anybody else?
Time for one more.
Yeah.
Come on up.
All right. I am Brett, like the frat boy.
Great.
And my gayest is that I went to Build-A-Bear specifically to purchase clothes for my cat.
That's great.
And my straightest is actually along the same line. My sister got me, it looks like such a straight ally sticker for my car that says, proud parent of a gay cat. So that is also on my car now.
That's great. Thank you, Brett.
I love that. That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you to all of you for being here. We really appreciate it. Appreciate you spending part of your afternoon with us here. Thank to Treefort and for having us. We really appreciate it. It was nice to be nominated. And especially to Alicia and Brett for running sound and helping out backstage and stuff. Thank you to everybody who shared their Gayest, Straightest. Appreciate you. I will find you and get you some merch.
If you want, we have been busy. If you want to come hang out, take pictures with us, we are also, if you post those 2 spaces, so go to Hornet Spaces, download that, I am there, and post pictures because I don't have any. That is my straightest, that I'm not taking pictures all the time and posting them to Instagram. So go to Spaces, post them there. I will comment and that'll be a lot of fun. Also, thank you to our super gap bridgers. These are people that are at our highest level of Patreon. Josh Copeland, Forrest Nail, Patrick Martin, Anonymous, James Barrow, Steve Douglas, Explosive Lasagna, Christopher Farrell, Jamie Pugh, Kevin Henderson, Tips and Stumbles, Donald Linsky, Thomas B. Dusty Sands, A. Coleman, Chris Cacciatore, and Jerome York, and Cian and Javi.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stick around for Turned Out a Punk. From the Chris Cacciatorian Studios, I'm Mike Johnson.
I want to be turned out by a punk. Oh, I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you.
See you next week. Or in Portland. Or in Seattle. Thanks.